Hey, it's been a while since I've done any sort of unscripted video, and I really wanted to make one just talking about my 3DS activity log. And I thought this would be the perfect time. The 3DS online servers are going to be shutting down next month, so I thought I would just have some closure on the 3DS and just see what I did from when I got it up until now. I may make one on the Wii U since its servers are also shutting down, but I don't know. Probably, but not anytime soon. And if I do, then look forward to something else. But I just wanted to just focus on the 3DS one, mainly because I played a lot more 3DS games than I did Wii U games, and the 3DS activity log is just fantastic. The actual software itself, just how organized everything is, it's just fantastic. And the Wii U one is fine, it's serviceable, but it's not as good as the 3DS's. At least it's ahead of the Switches because the Switch will only show your collective hours on your profile, and it only shows your most recent 20 games. It's really weird, but anyhow, let's get down to talking about my 3DS activity log. So this is where it all starts, on Christmas Day of 2011, with Super Mario 3D Land. I knew about the 3DS existence, or the 3DS's existence when it released, but I didn't really have a real desire to get it. Like, I wanted one, sure, but I was 11, and then come Christmas, I would have been 12, so I didn't really have money. 20 bucks was a lot to me, so I didn't buy a 3DS. And even though I wanted one, I didn't want one enough for me to be like, yeah, that's the one thing I want to save up for. Because there just wasn't enough interesting things on it that I wanted to play. All the games that I would have played on it would have just been DS games, and I already had a DS, so I didn't really have a reason to get the 3DS. Although, me being a Nintendo fan, I ended up getting one for Christmas, and I enjoyed it. I liked it, but there still wasn't anything around. But at this point, Super Mario 3D Land would have released, and I got it with Super Mario 3D Land and Sonic Generations, as you can see. So everything starts on Christmas Day in 2011 when I played Super Mario 3D Land. And I'm sure I would have messed around with some few other programs here. I can just double check. AR games would have been the same day. Same with Face Raiders, Me Maker, and just a lot of the other programs. And that would have just been the next day. But I just want to back up a little bit to the eShop. The eShop is my second most played game. Software, I should say. Just it being the eShop, I would just constantly, continuously just open it up, see what's new, what's on sale, what demos are available, what's here. Just window shop, be like, oh, that'd be a cool game. I didn't really buy digital games. Any main game, if it had a cartridge, I was buying it on cartridge. But I did buy a fair share of digital games, which will pop up in here. But everything else was just the standard. Use it for what you need it for. Face Raiders got me 31 minutes of enjoyment. That's not accurate, though. I did play it more on a friend's 3DS when it was new, so I probably have more, so maybe double that to an hour, or maybe even 2 hours. It is what it is. Is it cool? Yeah, but it is what it is. Me Maker got my use out of. AR games was interesting. 3DS sound didn't really utilize it. System settings, probably my favorite game on the 3DS. This is just... this is the best game they've ever made. Best software. 3DS system settings, it's just the best. Going to 3DS camera, I honestly did use 3DS camera quite a lot here. It had a really cool stop motion feature that I used with just figures and toys and whatnot I had. I don't think I have any of those stop motions anymore. If I ever do, I'll see what I can do about archiving them, but I don't think I have them anymore. I think I uploaded them to a YouTube channel back in 2011 or even 2012, whenever I made them, but that channel is long gone, and I don't think I backed up the things anywhere, so I think they're lost, but there were quite a few of them, and it was just a neat feature. I did make stop motions on the DSi, but it wasn't as cool because you had to like manually skip through the photos here. There was a whole stop motion thing for it, so I was like, that's awesome. Then moving on, obviously Me Maker, going back for a second. It's Me Maker. We're gonna say AR games was cool. 3DS sound, it wasn't as cool as like the DSi one. And then moving on the next side, we have the Me Plaza, Street Pass Me Plaza. This was fantastic. This was probably one of the best things the 3DS had. It was just a game that everyone had, and even though if you didn't want to play it, you were still kind of playing it by just street passing people. Now, moving on, this is one of the most important games, and I was in and out with this one. Health and safety information. Played it twice, each time 2 minutes, 4 minutes collective. I knew what I was going in for, and I came out right away. Boom. Health and safety information, definitely a classic on the 3DS. And then here we are with Sonic Generations. You notice the date jumps up. I didn't play it right away. I don't know why I didn't play it right away. It was also like the Christmas season, so a lot of the hours here aren't accurate. They weren't all played when it was new. This is my collective hours on it. And I probably just didn't have the full time to play it like when it was new, like when I had it. But, you know, a week after I got to it, and it was still new technically, but whatever. And played it. And this is honestly a fantastic Sonic 2D game. It's kind of underlooked because of the console versions on 360, PS3, and PC. And even though I prefer that one, because I prefer 3D Sonic, this was definitely a really good Sonic game, or a 2D Sonic game. Moving on, booted up DS Download Play. It is what it is. It's DS Download Play. I can't really check what games I played on it, but mostly probably just probably Mario Kart DS, Mario Kart 7 before I owned it, maybe. I can't remember. That's 25 hours of just someone else's game I played. And this one, I've never really heard of this. It's called Activity Log. It's on the 3DS. I've never really heard of it. I don't even remember like booting up 101 times. Jokes aside, I'd always just boot this up to just see what's been new. Every time you boot it up, if you play a new piece of software, it'll just let you know, be like, hey, these are your new pieces of software that you've played, and you can check stats on them right away. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. So I'm always consistently checking this thing. Nintendo Zone Viewer. I still don't know what this is. I tried to boot it up 5 times, I guess. Each time I had it up for a minute, and I'm like, I don't get it, and closed it. I still don't get it. Here we are with the friends list. This was the friends list. It was just the most booted up one, because whenever you'd have a friend come online, this little light here would turn orange. So I could be playing anything, you know, playing Smash, playing Mario Kart, and I would see it, and I'm like, oh, who's playing? I need to see who's playing. So I would just check it and consistently boot it up, see who's online, see what they're playing. Did it really matter? No. But I just, I found it fun. And then Nintendo Video. I don't remember all the videos I watched on this, but definitely got 3 hours and 17 minutes out of it, so it was worth it to me. So we're finally going on to the complete, flipping over the page. And the top left, we're starting with the internet browser. I don't know how I managed to open this up 203 times with an average time of a minute. But with 6 hours, I was definitely just probably booting up to be like, oh, I wonder if this site would work. I wonder if this site would work. Oh, I wonder if I can play Pokemon online or play a Flash game online or whatever on the 3DS, and just consistently would keep checking. It never worked, but didn't stop me when I was 12. And then just notifications. It is what it is. It's just notifications on 3DS. I would always see them. I think that turned green as well. That may have just been for Street Pass. I don't really remember. But, just have notifications. Sometimes be like, oh, hey, these games are on sale. And be like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And then game notes. I didn't really utilize it a lot. It was just kind of a weird, just draw something. At that point, why don't you just have like a pen and paper next to you if you want to take game notes? Because it's like, you have to press the home button, wait for it to load, then go to game notes, wait for it to load, and then check your notes. And I'm pretty sure it was only like 24 notes or something you check. And it was just like a pen and paper, so it's just like, I think it just made some random drawings on it to like kill 20 minutes back in the day. So we're moving on to the next actual game now. That's all the 3DS software that's baked into the system. I don't think I'm missing anything, and if I did, it'll pull up. But Rayman 3D. Played for 18 minutes, one time. This was a game I was gifted from a family member, and it's very interesting because I didn't really know Rayman, but I don't know how they ended up coming in possession with this game, because they gave it to me just as the cartridge, which that happens. Sometimes you get a game, buy a game, whichever, and it's just the disc or the cartridge or whatever, and the manual's missing or the case is missing, whatever, it happens. But the 3DS was out for like a year at this point. I don't know how I got into possession with just the cartridge, or how they got it with just the cartridge and then gave it to me. I don't know how that works. Maybe I'll give it a shot. I think this is like a remake of Rayman 2 on PlayStation 1, I think. But I don't know. I'll give it a fair shot later on when I start playing more Rayman games, but it's not really a series that's been on my radar, so I played it once, I was like, "Oh, game," and then, put it down. And then just played something else. Well, here we go to the first digital game I had, which was the Game Boy Donkey Kong. This is just a fantastic Game Boy game in general, and it was just a nice 3DS game to pop on for a little bit, play a little bit, and then you're good to go. I think I got this for free. I think this at the time was a Club Nintendo award with just the gold points. I think. I don't remember what kind of points it was, but it was free, and at least I think it was free. And I don't know, it was just fantastic to have that game. And then here's just a couple trailers. I was like, oh, you can download trailers? That's cool. So just download the Super Mario Bros. 2 one and the Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon one. And I've played them as much as the other one. They, like, anytime I play one, I'll just play the other. So they both just have 15. Surprisingly, the Dark Moon one has an extra 10 minutes. Maybe it's a longer trailer, or I just left it open a little longer. It is what it is. And then Wild War. This is when I first was like, you know what? Let's pop in a DS game. I didn't play it a whole lot on the 3DS. That's 3.5 hours. And for an Animal Crossing game, that's like nothing. But like I said, at the time, I still had a DS, so I was still playing games on the DS as well. I wasn't just using the 3DS. And sometimes I would prefer playing on the DS. I don't know why, but I just stuck with doing that. But, this is when we're starting to get a lot of my DS games, as we can see here, coming up with Heart Gold, 110 hours. And just a lot of time played on this, and just boot up a ton of times, and just like a pretty big average playtime with it, an hour and 10. I wish the average playtime was really weird, because you could boot it up and then close it, and then that would just tank your average playtime. So it's not the best statistic ever, but it's still pretty cool. And this is when I was just playing a bunch of Pokemon games, just booting them up, seeing they are. Pokemon White was like a few days later. Pokemon Black, a few days later after that. Pearl, 3 minutes. Best 3 minutes I've ever spent on Pearl. And then like Pokedex 3D. I think that was the next download. I'm pretty sure it was free. If I'm not mistaken, I think this was like a paid program, but you could download it for free, or I got it for free before it was paid. Or maybe I'm just thinking of a completely different program. I'm not too sure. But I didn't really use it a lot, but I was just like, hey, that's pretty cool. And Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story. And this is where we're going to notice a weird track. The first played is going to jump from the middle of the summer all the way to January 1st, 2011. I don't know what happened, but my 3DS clock just completely reset. So for the next handful of games, the actual date is going to be completely incorrect. It's not like it means anything, but the one thing that's cool is the activity log sorts it all based off of when it was added, not when it was added based off the date it has, but like chronological order. Like this is game 1, that's game 2. So it just game 2, no matter what that says, it'll always be after that one. So I know I played this after that, so that's pretty cool. This was the first game I was actually excited for on the 3DS, being Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. I was just super excited for it. Luigi's Mansion was a fantastic game on the GameCube, and definitely one of my favorite games of all time. And I was so excited for this. Now, I don't hate Dark Moon, but it's not the Luigi's Mansion 2 that I really wanted to see. Is it a good game? Yeah. Is there a lot of charm in it that's good? Yeah. Is there good ideas in it that I would like to see in another Luigi's Mansion? Sure. But is it the Luigi's Mansion 2 that I was expecting and wanting to see? Unfortunately, it wasn't. And even with 16 hours, I never beat it. Some of those hours could have been AFK hours, or I think a decent amount of them, actually. I think we're just with the co-op, which was, even though it was very simple, it was very fun. And then this is just the first demo I downloaded, being like, oh, you can download demos. So I downloaded that. The next page, we just have Super Mario 64 DS. Now, 10 hours. I was like, oh, I have the circle pad. I can go into 360 movement, and it's just perfectly fine. Even though it's not technically right, even though that's still like emulating like a D-pad, I still feel like it's a bit better using this than the D-pad. Also, ignore like the chunk out of the circle pad. I just opened up this 3DS a couple weeks ago, and after not using it, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna use that circle pad, and I go to use it, and it just crumbles in front of me. Um, I don't know why it does that, but it just did. So yeah, that was fun. But this was the next 3DS game I was super excited for, and it would have been Animal Crossing New Leaf. And it is my third most played game in terms of playtime. And this is just a fantastic Animal Crossing game. I think objectively, this is probably the best Animal Crossing game. My favorite is still going to be City Folk, but I think this is probably just the best Animal Crossing game to ever exist. And unfortunately, its servers are going to be shut down next month. So that really sucks, but still a fantastic Animal Crossing game. And just a fantastic game to have on the 3DS. Um, Kingdom Hearts 3D. I know nothing about Kingdom Hearts. Like, I know the gist. It's like, oh, it's Square Enix and Disney characters and this and that. And then I had a friend be like, hey, you should play this game. It's awesome. And I'm just like, okay, but I don't really want to spend my money on it. And then they're like, it's a demo. Or either they mentioned there was a demo or I saw a demo. And I'm just like, you know what? That's awesome. Let's do that. Let's download that demo. And I played it and I'm like, you know what? That's kind of interesting. However, I don't know. I didn't really bring me into the series. Granted, this was like way after Kingdom Hearts started, and it's already a really, really confusing series. So it's not like I would have known what's going on with it. And I don't know. I just never really got into the series. Kirby Superstar Ultra. I played quite a bit of it on the 3DS, and I played a lot more of it on a DS. And this is probably, in my opinion, the best Kirby game. It's at least my favorite Kirby game. It's just fantastic. And Mario Kart 7, this is honestly a kind of slept on Mario Kart just because, oh, it's a portable Mario Kart. But it felt kind of like a Wii Lite to an extent, but also like more than Wii. It's weird. It had some restrictions from Wii or some removals from the Wii version where, bikes were removed and characters removed. But the car customization was a fantastic feature. And then underwater and gliding, though simple, do help make a lot of maps feel more special and interesting. So this is just a very good Mario Kart. I do hate the Tanuki Leaf, though. It's never been my favorite in this game. It's okay, but I'm happy with its removal with 8 onward. And then I got the game. I was just like watching YouTube videos, and this content creator I was watching at the time was like, hey, we're doing viewer races. And I'm like, I'm a viewer. So I was just like, you know what? I got money. I had enough money for Pokemon Y, as you can see, and then I had enough money for just another 3DS game. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going to be. And then that happened, and it's like, yeah, no, it's Mario Kart 7. It's just going to be Mario Kart 7. And I got it, and then after that, I think I played like that viewer race like once. And then after that, there was a ton with friends. This was just a fantastic game to play with friends, mainly because one person could own it, and anyone else could just join. And it was just fantastic. Kirby Squeak Squad. This is a good Kirby game. I didn't really play it a lot on the DS, as you see, only just booted up once. But I did play it quite a lot on the just regular DS, DSi. This is a fantastic Kirby game. Probably my second favorite Kirby game. It kind of feels like Superstar Ultra, but its own thing instead of being like a remake. It's a very good Kirby game, but I just didn't play it a lot on the 3DS. A lot more on the DS and DSi when I would have first gotten it years ago. Nintendogs plus Cats demo. I was just like, it's free, it's a demo, and I downloaded it. But when I was younger, I was just like, oh, I can't let people know I downloaded Nintendogs. I can't let people know I downloaded Nintendogs. So I only played it once. But this was the main game I was looking forward to for the year, and this would have been in 2013, not 2011. Pokemon Y. Played a lot. It was one of my most played games on the 3DS, but surprisingly isn't even in the top 3 anymore. Pokemon Y is a fantastic Pokemon game, but it's really weird because it's also kind of the most forgettable Pokemon game. Like, it doesn't do anything wrong. It does a lot right, but it's just not as memorable as other Pokemon games. Like, it has Mega Evolution, which is probably, like, the best Pokemon mechanic they've introduced ever. It has a lot of cool designs for, like, Pokemon and characters, cool environment, really good music, but it just fell flat in terms of being remembered as I've surprisingly only played it all the way through once. I attempted through X when I got it later on, which I'll get to there when I get to there. But I just, I don't know, I don't really remember it. Now, I remember for what I did in it, but like as a game compared to like Black and White or like Heart Gold Soul Silver or anything that came after, like Omega Ruby or even like Sun and Moon, it just doesn't really stick as being memorable. A little after that, I would have played Pokemon Platinum, and I think from Platinum onward, this is when the dates are now correct, as we notice we jump from 2011 to 2013. So this is when the dates are correct. Pokemon Platinum, fantastic game. A lot of DS games here, not 3DS games, so it's kind of a DS and 3DS activity level we're looking at here. But it is what it is. Played a lot of it. This would have been November 2013. And then Pokemon X I would have gotten as a gift because I had this mentality of I will buy one of the Pokemon games, whichever one's more interesting to me, either X or Y, Black or White, so on and so forth, the day they release. And then I would get the other one as like a Christmas gift, be like, oh, that's the big gift of the year in terms of like a game. And I was like, that's awesome. Now, even though it's double the same game, I would get like value out of both because I liked keeping one save file as like the main save file and another one where I could just continuously like repeat it over and over and over and over again. I picked Y over X because I just like the Legendary more. It seemed more interesting. And X I played quite a bit, but never beat it because, like I said, I couldn't get really back into it. And I still have only beaten like Generation 6 one time. And then Nintendo Network ID settings. It's a classic. Pokemon Bank. It is what it is. It's a good program and it's a very helpful program, but it's not really one I used. I just always had the Pokemon on my games. I never really had so many Pokemon that I'm like, I need a bank for my Pokemon. So I just never really used it. I used it for what I had to, Gen 5 to 6 or whatever, but I never really had use for outside of that. But even then, that's not even Pokemon Bank. That is Pokemon Transfer or Transporter. Helpful program. Get stuff from Gen 5 to Gen 6. It is what it is. That's all I used it for. In and out, even though I booted up 27 times. What was I doing? And that would have been like in February later on. So that would have been like, oh, it's actually, I think that's when it launched. I think that's when Pokemon Bank and Transporter launched because they completely crashed the eShop in February, which was awesome. Miiverse. I think this one Miiverse hit the scene in, hit the scene on the 3DS. And it was cool, but I didn't really use it a lot when it came out. I didn't really start using Miiverse until it hit the Wii U. Well, it was on the Wii U, but until I got myself a Wii U, and I was like, man, this is a pretty cool social media. Not like a replacement for another social media, but it's just like a really cool, just Nintendo social media. It's not like another social media, but like, oh, here's a group about Nintendo games, or here's a group about Kirby. It was just, you knew if you're going on Miiverse, everyone would have interest in Nintendo. So it just worked. Pokemon Black 2. I still haven't played Black 2. It's in my backlog, but this is just when I bought it and tested it, make sure it works. Maybe, God, why'd I boot it up 9 times to make sure it works? I don't know. This one I threw Mario Kart DS in. I had a lot of friends that just didn't have 3DSs to do download play on Mario Kart 7, so I just played Mario Kart DS instead. Still think it's fantastic. I prefer Mario Kart 7. But DS is fantastic. Fantastic Mario Kart game. Actually, do I prefer 7? I don't know. That's a close one. They're honestly, I don't know. They're not comparable. Like they are, but they aren't. It's really weird, actually. So I don't really know which one I prefer. So this page, every time I see this page, it hits me with like a wave of nostalgia. It seems weird. This is like a weird assortment. Like Super Princess Peach, Sonic Chronicles, Tomodachi Life Demo, Mario Party DS. What is going on? Well, this page, or these pages, I always remember as the waiting for Super Smash Bros. 3DS era. These are the games that I just always think of when I'm like, I was waiting for Smash Bros. 3DS. And we'll get through it. Not as much the top two there being Mario Golf World Tour, the demo, obviously. I still don't even own the game. And Mario Party DS. Just, I had those friends that had DS games, so I just, would play them with them. But, yeah, it's still a fantastic Mario Party, and it's probably the best Mario Party that's on DS. The two that are on 3DS are, I think it's the three if you want to count like top 100. I don't really remember them. I think it's like Star Rush, Island Tour, and Top 100. Maybe there's a fourth one I'm forgetting. I didn't really play them enough, and they just were too gimmicky. I mean, Mario Party's gimmicky, but like too gimmicky for like Mario Party. That was just kind of its own like entry. I don't know. They're fine games as far as I remember, but they just weren't traditional Mario Party on the DS. So that's where Mario Party DS just comes in. And just fantastic. Played a lot more on the, like I said, a lot of these DS games, even though their hours look low, a lot of the hours were just on like a DS or a DSi. And this is just the amount of hours I put on the game on a 3DS. We got Namco Museum DS. I don't really remember it because this is not my game. I borrowed it, played it for 19 minutes, and I'm like, cool. But we got new Super Mario Brothers here. It's new Super Mario Brothers. You can't go wrong with it. Just fantastic game. This game probably has 20 more times the hours on a DS or a DSi than it does the 3DS. But like I said, it was just I put it in to play because this era I was just waiting for Smash Brothers. So I was just like, I just need to play other games. I gotta get my mind off Smash Brothers. So imagine this one in July. I believe in July around this time, I think Palutena and Pac-Man were just recently announced for Smash Wii U and 3DS. Maybe they were about to be, or they just were. I think they just were, if I'm remembering correctly. So I just saw these trailers and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get my mind off them. I can't do this. I can't wait until October. So I was just booting up other DS games I had, and I'm like, oh, Super Princess Peach, yeah, maybe I'll give that a fair shot. Yeah, a fair shot of 48 minutes. Yeah, I played a bit more on DS. Not a game I played a whole lot, but I definitely played more than 48 minutes on the DS. The same day, I'm just Fire Emblem. I'm like, oh, that's a Smash series. Fire Emblem. I have that. I have that. 4 minutes. Oh, all of these were like, yeah, the same day. And then, but I'm like, oh, YouTube. Okay, 57 minutes. Right on. I'd go in there, watch 5 minutes of videos, and then get off, according to this. And then Kirby Triple Deluxe, this would have been on the 29th. And this is where everything kind of changed with my hype for Smash, because big Kirby fan. I like them, but I didn't really care about getting every single game because my money wasn't infinite when I was 14 at this point in time. So I skipped on it. I knew the game existed, but I didn't really know much about it. But then I saw a YouTube video about the side mode called Kirby Fighters, and I'm like, a 2D fighting game, kind of like Smash Brothers, not really, because it's like a health based, but it was like, it's Kirby, so it's like kind of, I gotta get this game. So this was my next big 3DS purchase that I bought, and I played it mainly for Kirby Fighters, but then I actually played the actual game, and I'm like, hey, this is just a fantastic Kirby game. It's not my number one Kirby game, but if someone said yeah, this is my favorite Kirby game, I wouldn't look at them sideways. I would be like, yeah, that's fine. That makes sense. Yeah. And then here I was just buying more 3DS games and just other games. I bought these both at the same time. Kirby Fighters, going back to that for a second. It was a game that I played with friends, had download play, so it was another one I played with a bunch of friends to be like, oh, we're kind of playing Smash. But anyhow, New Super Mario Bros. 2. I'm like, I love the original. It's over here. So I'm like, oh, 2? Sure. And I played it, and I liked it. I think it's a good New Super Mario Bros. Game. Good 2D game. At this point, it was getting a little stale for people, because they're all like, oh, there's Wii and DS, and I don't know if U came before or after this, but it was either on the way, or was known, or released, or I don't really remember. But even then, it was just more new soup, and even though people complain about these new Super Mario Bros. Games, but I honestly don't hate them. I think they're perfectly fine. Perfectly fine games. But New Super Mario Bros. 2, I would have bought in the same day as Sonic Chronicles The Dark Brotherhood. Sega BioWare. But this is my highest average playtime game. Weird. But I've always known about this game, and I was just like, ooh, I really dig the box art. And I played it, and I'm like, I don't see why people hate this game. Like, the music, yeah, but I'm like, this game is kind of fun. Granted, that was 10 years ago. Well, gonna be 10 years ago. So if I go back to it now, maybe I'll be like, damn, yeah, maybe people are right. But at the time, I'm like, I don't know why people are hating this game. So I kind of like alternated playing these. I mean, obviously just that for a long period, then a little bit of that, and then so on. But New Super Mario Bros. 2, great game. This, at the time, I wouldn't say it was like the best game ever made, and even like the best Sonic game ever made or whatever, but it was definitely like I got enjoyment out of it. Good 8 hours and 27 minutes. But I'll have to go back to it someday and then be like, yeah, people are right. This game's not as good, or maybe I just never played again and I'll just remember it as being good. Sonic Rush, I believe I threw that in, 10 days later, and I was just replaying it, probably just replaying certain levels. Like a game I already got my fix in, played a ton of DSi, so didn't really play it a lot on 3DS. Tomodachi Life, everyone was talking about this at my school. They're like, oh, you gotta get Tomodachi Life, so got it, but got the demo, and I'm like, this is cool, but I don't know if I really want to put my money towards it right now. On the same time as demos, got Lost World, the same day. And I'm like, that's cool. It's cool. I never owned Lost World when it was new. Like, even on Wii U, I never owned it until the end of high school. So I still haven't even beat it, to be honest. It's never been a game that interested me. When I saw it when it was coming out, I'm like, oh, that's neat. That's neat, but like, where's Generations 2? Or where's the next Generations game? Because you just made Sonic Generations, probably the best Sonic game ever made. And then you're gonna do that? And I'm like, okay, but it was just 2 years. Surely you got 2011 with Sonic Generations, 2013 with Sonic Lost World. Surely 2014 or 2015, you're gonna be just have the best Sonic game ever. Surely you're not going to wait until the end of 2017 to release a garbage Sonic game. Surely not doing that. Anyhow, Super Mario 3D, not Super Mario 3D, sorry, Super Mario Bros. 3, the virtual console release of it. Great game. It's probably my favorite like 2D Mario game in terms of just like the NES era, and I do prefer it over Mario World. But I don't know. It's just Super Mario Bros. 3. Like, it is. I don't know. Like I said, I was just buying more things, getting more things on the 3DS just so I could distract myself from wanting Smash. And then ended up getting Kid Icarus because I was like, Palutena got announced for Smash. I don't know who this is, but I remember them from Brawl and Pit's Final Smash. I know who Pit is. The guy that's making Smash made this game, and there's a lot of similarities between them in terms of like the menus. And it's a good game, so I ended up getting it used, and I'm like, this game's great. This game's fantastic. This is probably like a top 10 3DS game, maybe even top 5. I've never really thought about my top 3DS games, but this is definitely like a fantastic game, and I would love to see it done again. But this is also a game that you like or you don't like. Not because of the characters, it's just because of the control. It's just, there's no game that controls like it, so it's just, it's weird. It's like trying to explain Pikmin to someone. You either get it or you don't get it, and it's just as simple as that. And played a decent amount about it, but this is when everything changed. Super Smash Brothers. This was just the same day I played Kid Icarus. I played it. I'm like, that's gonna be my distraction. And then Nintendo, they're just like, yeah, there's gonna be a special demo of Smash Brothers where it's gonna have like 5 characters, 1 stage, 2 minutes only. And I'm just like, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap. I need to get this. Well, it was to Club Nintendo, I think Platinum members or Gold members or whatever the highest tier was, or one of the higher tiers, which I wasn't. Because, like I said, I bought a lot of Nintendo games, but not enough to get like the super high tiers. Like I said, I was young, so I didn't have a lot of money, and even with the ones I bought and that, it wasn't enough for like a kid to get like the highest level, at least for me to get a higher level. So this I didn't have, and I'm like, I was hanging out with my friend that weekend, and I'm like, I need to get this. I need to get this. We need to get this. So I'm scouring the internet, like special demo version code, blah, blah, blah. And I come across a forum that I never heard of before, like a forum site I never heard of. I made an account on it because the guy said, oh, I have extra ones. I'm giving them away. Because when they gave these away, they gave away 4 to each person. Each person got 4. So people had ones to give away or they give to friends or whatever. So this guy's like, I have extras. I'll give them away. And I messaged him like, yeah, can I have one, please? And then he sent me a message and he's like, here you go. And I thought he was joshing me. And then I downloaded it and it just worked. It was this. And I'm like, holy, it's this. It's the game. It's the demo. And I downloaded it. I'm like, oh my god, thank you, 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 thank you. And that was it. I I fell in love with Smash at that point, and that guy was awesome. And even at the point, we emailed each other for maybe like a month or something after the game. We are like, oh yeah, 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 who are you gonna main in the new game? Or we should play. We never did play, unfortunately. However, I'll never forget that moment. That's like one of my favorite gaming moments, and it didn't involve me playing a game, just getting a game. That was fantastic. My friend ended up like getting a copy of the game too. He ended up buying it, but you know what? Who cares? Who cares, man? He got it. I got it. We played, and it was just so much fun. Like it was it. And the special demo was also, special because I think they released the Smash demo, like the regular demo, after this, and the only difference was, it had limited plays. So the thing with demos on 3DS, which is also like a really weird thing, is demos have a certain amount of times they can be like boot up. Some are 30, some 15, some 10, some 5. It's just depending on the game, it can only be turned on X amount of times. This special demo does not have that restriction. It can be boot up as many times as you want. And as you can see, 37 hours on a demo that had 5 characters, 3 of which were returning characters, 2 new, 1 stage, which was Battlefield, and a fixed 2-minute timer. And I guarantee none of those are going to be AFK. I was playing this game, man. I played it with friends because it would play with the regular demo when that released. And I think it was a week later when that released. And I played with friends. I played on my own. And I'm just like, I cannot get enough. I need this game now. And it was still a month away at this point for October 3rd of 2014. And I was waiting. But this helped me get through that month. I'm saying it like it's a bad thing. Like, oh, I need help getting through this month. But I was just like, I gotta get this game. I gotta get this game, and this helped because it was kind of the game. And here we go. This is when everything changed, kinda. Not the same as Smash demo, but remember Kirby Triple Deluxe back when I had the Kirby Fighters mode? Yeah, they ended up releasing a standard, like a standalone release that added new abilities, new maps, and new game modes, and it was just a more fleshed out game, more like a digital game than anything. But it was more fleshed out, and I'm like, that's awesome. So I got it. It was like, I think it was like $10, maybe 15, and I'm like, this is just fantastic game. Got my time out of it. Played with friends too. Played with friends as well because I had DS download play, and it was just fantastic. And then Metroid. This was just me like, I'm like, okay, it's only a few weeks away. I can get through this. I can make it. And I'm like, you know what, Metroid. I like Samus. Samus is cool. Zero Suit Samus is cool. I like that. That's cool. But I never really played the games. I didn't own the games. So I'm like, yeah, I'll download the original. Let me start with the classics. Thinking, Metroid will be on the same tiers like Super Mario Brothers. It's not. The original Metroid is a fine game, but it's a game that you either had to be there when it was new to have all the instructions or the guides from Nintendo Power and stuff, or you just have to look it up. And I didn't have the patience for it to do that, so I didn't play it. If I ever play Metroid, I'm probably either going to just start with Zero Mission because it's just this game but better, or maybe I'll just start with a different game. I'm not too sure. Or maybe I'll muscle through this. I'm not too sure. But moving on, this is when we hit into October. This was the day before Smash released, and this is where I think a friend of mine. This was when we were still kind of in an acquaintance phase, which was weird. But Four Swords Anniversary is like a fantastic Zelda game. Now, I say that loosely because I'm not a huge fan of Zelda. You'll notice that this is the first Zelda game that's appeared. I just never grew up playing Zelda games, but I had played Four Swords before in the past on a cousin's DS because he downloaded it on his DSi back in the day when it was free. This whole anniversary thing was free. But I just wasn't really paying attention to the news back then, so I never got it. But I was like, man, that looks really fun. And then he played it, and I played it on his system. I'm like, that's awesome. I want to get it. And in high school, there was this friend. It wasn't like a close friend at the time, but he's just like, yeah, I downloaded on every DS I have. I'll transfer it to you. And I'm like, what? So he did a system transfer to just transfer Four Swords from like his spare DSi to my 3DS, and I'm just flabbergasted that one, he did this for free, and two, at the time, we weren't close friends. We knew each other's names, but like that was like it. There wasn't much to it. But at that point, I'm like, okay, yeah. Now I think like this guy is gonna be a great friend. Like it was just like, holy crap. Like okay, we were friends at this time, but like not to like the extent that I like had for friends for years. Because at this point, this would have been early high school, so I've known him at this point in time only like a couple or a handful of months. I think. I don't know. Maybe my memory's just going, and maybe we just were friends. Maybe I'm just completely wrong on this. Regardless of what happened, he sent it, and I thought that was just fantastic. Man, I can't even remember my own past. We'll see. I would have met him. I would have met him when we played Mario Kart 7. So, yeah, maybe we were closer friends. Not like bestest friends. It definitely wasn't a top 3 friend at the time. But whatever. I'm dragging this on. We're going to the main one I was waiting for. Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. This was the one I could not wait for. Most played game, third most application on this like 3DS. Average time of like an hour and a half, which is insane for a game with that many plays and that many hours to have an hour and a half on it. Fantastic Smash Brothers experience. This was just the game that changed it for me. It was awesome. The characters were awesome. The new maps are awesome. Items. The only thing I really hated was there was no adventure mode like Subspace, but the classic mode that was on 3DS was pretty good. Smash Run I thought was fantastic. It was just a very good Smash game. Friends got it. It was just an awesome game to play with friends and even just solo. And then as things came on with the DLC, adding Mewtwo was fantastic. I kind of wish they added Smash Run maps. I wish you could change Smash Run like rules, like remove the timer, shorten the timer. I wish you could pick the game at the end, or at least disable which games could appear. I wish you could play Smash Run online, but outside of that, it just fantastic Smash game. I had no issues with it. And then we go from Smash to 10-in-1 Arcade Collection. I don't know. I may have bought this on like the school Wi-Fi when I had money. I'm just signing the school Wi-Fi. I remember it was at home, and I'm just like, it was like $1, and I'm like, I can spare $1, so I bought it. It's you get what you paid for. It's $1 worth of 10 arcade games. Just they're like Flash quality. Are they horrendous? No. Are they fantastic? No. Were they serviceable for an hour and 48 minutes? Probably. That's probably being generous, the fact they put an hour and 48 minutes into this, but this was just like a random thing. Like I was just like, yeah, let's have that downloaded. And moving on to next was the Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire special demo. Unlike the Smash demo, it wasn't just demo and special demo. It was just special demo no matter what, which got, I believe, it was either emailed and then put up on the eShop or just put up on the eShop. I don't remember how they distributed it, but this was a big one. This one I 100% downloaded while I was in high school. At the school, just using like the Wi-Fi. You had the combination of the slow school Wi-Fi plus the eShop that was actually just breaking because of the amount of people downloading this. This was just like a fantastic year. October of 2014 was just a fantastic month because you had Smash release. You had Smash release in early October, and then November the next month you had Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire release, and then you had what else was there? You had Smash Wii U, which released, and then you had Hyrule Warriors released. Like, it was just a really good end year for Nintendo in 2014. But Omega Ruby, I was like, oh, Ruby Sapphire, awesome. Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, oh, here we go. Download demo. It was awesome. It was cool. And I kind of liked how it was just, even though it's a special demo, it's also kind of a different Pokemon experience where it's just like a different locale, different dialogue. It's not just like the first 10 minutes of Pokemon and just like, hey, just have things tackling each other for an hour. It was something different, which was really cool to see. So, Fire Emblem Awakening, the demo, was next. This was just another, hey, it's a demo. I'm gonna download it. So I downloaded it. I'm like, that was pretty cool. Maybe I'll buy the game. I don't know. Anyhow, just another demo. Same day, I was just like, yeah, Parking Star 3D demo. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Parking Star 3D demo. Parking Star 3D demo. How was I not going to download that? But it is what it is. It's just like a Flash style game on 3DS. I don't know. I just I downloaded it. It is what it is. But then Alpha Sapphire came out. Fantastic Pokemon game. And it was weird because even though I was excited for Alpha Sapphire, this was just such a big month for Nintendo that Alpha Sapphire, I wasn't like, I gotta play this right away. Because I don't think that's the release date. I think the release date was 2 days before that. So I just didn't play it right away because Smash Wii U had released at that. I believe Smash Wii U would have released by now. Hyrule Warriors is out. I didn't have that. But just Smash 3DS still being new, it's still being talked about. Smash Wii U hitting the scene, I was just like, I can't play Pokemon right now. One of my favorite series, I just can't play it right now. There's just too much other stuff. But I got to it. Became my second most played Pokemon game. This one is a lot more memorable than X and Y was. But like just a lot of time spent on it with friends, playing this. A lot of time on my own, just playing the game, extras, collecting Pokemon. This is when I first discovered how like EVs and IVs worked in Pokemon. Where I'm just like, when I played against a friend, I'm like, what do you mean my story Greninja didn't one-shot your dragon with Ice Beam? Ice is good against dragon. But it was honestly kind of cool to experience that and like learn how those mechanics truly work. And then, I played a lot. The second most played game in terms of playtime on my 3DS. And then this is when we go to a really important game. Stunt Toy Bike Demo. Yeah, this was another just, why not? It's a demo, it's free, let's download it, sure. But this is when we get to a really interesting. This is when I started buying a lot of just 3DS games. For 14, 15-year-old me at the time, this is when I just started buying a lot because I had more money at this time. So it was like, okay, here we go. Some were gifts, some were not, but I started getting a lot more 3DS. This is when I was like, okay, I'm using my 3DS all the time now. I got Smash on it now. Now, 2 Pokemon games that are on the 3DS. It's just like, it's over now. Now I start getting a lot more 3DS games in terms of stuff that's new, stuff I missed. Ultimate NES Remix. Never owned 1 and 2 on Wii U, but I did get Remix on here, obviously. And it's just a fantastic game. Even though the hours look low, I do think this is just a fantastic Pokemon, like not Pokemon, sorry. A fantastic just 3DS game. But it's just hard to put that many hours in like a type game like this because it's just like, they're all like bite-sized challenges. You can put a lot of time, but it's just, boot it up, mess around for a bit, half an hour or something, and then you get off. You get your fix of it really quickly, and could it get stale really quickly if you keep playing it? Yeah, but I think I played it enough where I never feel tired of it. It was just like, I'll pop it in, play a little bit, pop it out, pop it in, play a little bit, pop it out. It just worked. It was a good like filler game where you didn't want to play something big, but you wanted to play something, so it just worked for that. This is when I got Island Tour. I was just like, Mario Party DS is awesome. And at the time earlier when I played Mario Party DS, that's all I had. But I'm like, now there's a 3DS one that I can buy. So I got it. And it's fine. It's fine. It's the Pokemon XY of Mario Party games. Not really, actually. I lied with that. It's just forgettable. I don't remember why I didn't like it. I obviously didn't really care for it. Yeah, that's it. And then Donkey Kong Returns 3D. Another game I thought I'd play a bit more of, but I never did. I skipped out on the Wii version. Thought I would play it on 3DS, and I just never did. Was it fun what I played? Yeah. Why is that all I played, though? Only an hour and 43 minutes? I don't know. I don't know why. But then this is when I'm like, okay, I gotta get a Zelda game. I gotta try a real Zelda game. Let me get Ocarina 3D. And this is a fantastic Zelda game. And that's all I can say about it, to be honest, because even with 20 hours, I never beat it. I did try. I booted up 10 times. Each time I played for like 2 hours. That's honestly almost like a perfect thing. 20 hours with 2 hours each 10 times, like playing it 10 times. It just works out perfectly. But so every time I played for at least 2 hours, and I tried to beat it, but I think I got as far as like the well in Kakariko Village. and never played beyond that. I thought it's a good game and probably the best Zelda game, or up there for the best Zelda game, top five. But it wasn't my type of game. I couldn't finish it. I'm not huge into games with puzzles, um, so I just never really got to finish it because of that. And then Omega Ruby, this would have been like a Christmas gift, but I didn't play it till a little later. It is what it is. Fire Emblem Awakening, this is when I ended up getting that. I think I bought this. I think I bought, or maybe it was a gift. I don't remember. But I got it, and I enjoyed it, but I never really beat it. I'll definitely have to go back and beat it, because I enjoyed what I played, but it's just been so long since then that if I play, I'll just start a new save file. But I enjoyed what I played, but I just never beat it, unfortunately. And then Shantae the Pirate's Curse. This was probably the first 3DS game that I downloaded that wasn't just Virtual Console or something small. This was like an actual game. I don't think this had a cartridge at the time. It did get a cartridge later on, or maybe it had one. I don't really remember. It does have a cartridge, but I don't know if it released later or existed at the same time. Not that I was aware of, but my one friend at this point would have been like a closer friend. The same guy that gave me 4 swords for Christmas is like, hey, here's a $20 eShop card, or the $25 eShop card, whichever it was. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So that's when I ended up buying this. I think that's why I had money for the arcade one, or maybe not. I actually don't remember. No, I would have had money from something else. So this was just, I used that, because this would have been like a $20 game at the time, or 15 or something. So yeah, no, never mind. That's what I would use that money for, on this. I remember seeing it talked about. I remember seeing it on the DSi eShop. Not this one, but the second game in the series. So I was just like, yeah, I'll play this one. And I enjoy it. It was cool. Never beat it. But the one I was really waiting for a little after that was Flipnote Studio 3D. I could not wait for them to release Flipnote Studio 3D for 3DS. I could not wait until they released it, and I'm like, this sucks. It was terrible. Okay, so the software is fine, but it lacked that 3DS feel, or not 3DS, for that Flipnote Studio feel that the DSi one had. Maybe just because you couldn't really publish things online and find them as easier. It just didn't have that same community behind it, so it just really hindered this game. It's probably better than the DS1 in terms of the tools available to make flip notes, but the tools to find flip notes online and view them and whatnot, they just weren't there, and I didn't really care for it. Starfy I threw in. This is a game I beat on DS, so only 24 minutes on here. Just fantastic game. Post-Amiiverse, yeah, posted twice allegedly, and played them for a minute each time. Very important. Yoshi's New Island. This game is a digital game, I believe, not a physical. Yeah, this is a digital game. And I think this is when the Club Nintendo was shutting down, and they're like, okay, you can pick one game for free. It was something like that. I remember there being just like, you can pick one free game on Nintendo, or like you can use your coins to one. Because I remember it was like this and Tropical Freeze. I don't remember the exact story behind it. I don't know if it was like you could pick one, you could buy all of them, or maybe I only had money for one, or I don't remember. But I ended up, whatever scenario that was, I picked Yoshi's New Island, because it was like Tropical Freeze. I just played Returns, and I didn't really care for it, and I don't know, this is Yoshi's New Island. I liked Yoshi's Island on the GBA, so maybe it's like that. It's not like that. I mean, it kind of is, but it's just inferior. People really hate this game. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be, but it's also just, it's not as good as the Yoshi's Island before it. I can't really speak for Yoshi's Island DS, but it definitely is not as good as Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo and the Game Boy Advance remake of it. And then Pokemon Rumble World. This was just another, yeah, download it, why not? And honestly, I got quite a lot of time out of this game. I thought it was very fun. I didn't really like beat it or anything, but it was a fun, just like, I don't really want to play Smash or a big game. I just, what do I got downloaded? Oh, Pokemon Rumble, boom. So that's where the most of the time comes from on that. And then, here we have Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Not a game I owned. The Mario vs. Donkey Kong series is one that I always wanted to own. I always thought it was good, but it was a game that always like eluded me. Where it was just like, that just looks awesome. You can make levels and all that. And I'm like, that's just fantastic. But I just never really owned it because anytime I had money, I spent the other thing. The game was old at the time, so I didn't go back. Maybe I couldn't find it in store anymore because the 3DS games on the shelves in 2015, and even before that, it just kept always skipping me. It's like I could buy that, but I could also buy this. I could buy that, but I could buy this. So I just kept skipping out on it. And a friend had it, so I played it. I'm like, this game's fantastic. I only, obviously I got 38 minutes out of it, and it's still a game I need to own. But hey, I think it's fantastic. So I'm like, you know what? What can I do? Oh, they have it on the eShop. But what's that? That's not Versus. What's Mario and Donkey Kong? This was like the spin-off of the spin-off. So you're like Mario vs. Donkey Kong, which is a spin-off of the Mario series. Then you have Mario and Donkey Kong, which is the spin-off of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series. This was kind of the same concept with like the guiding minis, like mini Marios, but it was in 3D. Very cool, and you could do some very creative things, but having just like the grid for it, the 3D grid, it was also kind of pretty limited. So I was just like, yeah, it's cool, but it's not like, it wasn't as interesting as Mario vs. Donkey Kong. It didn't give me that Mario vs. Donkey Kong fix as like a real Mario vs. Donkey Kong game would have gave me. Though, it was good for what it was, and I don't regret getting it. So this is when Amiibo would have hit the scene on the 3DS. And I think around this time I would have gotten this exact new 3DS. In the time, I've had 3 3DSs. I had a red one, which then I transferred all the information to the NES new 3DS, which then I bought this one, which is the Majora's Mask one, which then I would have transferred all that from the NES one to this one. And that's like, wait, the Majora's Mask one, why do you have that one? You don't really care for Zelda. Okay, so I don't really care for Zelda games. I like the characters. But this was interesting because the new 3DS, I believe, was a $260 device when it was new in Canada. I think it was like $260, $240 or something like that. But someone was selling this locally. They're like, hey, I'm selling this with a micro SD card for 32 gigs and a charger for the same price as just buying a new 3DS, which was big because the new 3DS didn't come with a charger. So that was like, I'm like, oh, I could save $10 on that charger, or the 15 or whatever the charger was. And plus the micro SD card, 32 gigs. That's massive for a 3DS. The new 3DS may come with a 32 gig micro SD card. I wouldn't know. I'm under the assumption that it didn't because the other 3DSs had like a 4 gigabyte one. So I'm like, oh, 4 gigabyte to 32. That's a huge jump for Nintendo. Maybe like the 8. But maybe the default one is 32. But even if it's not, the charger, I'm like, oh, same price with the charger. And it's a special edition? Sure, why not? So that's how I ended up with this one. And then Star Fox 3D. I'm like, oh, Star Fox, he's in Smash. I gotta try his game. I bought the game and I tried it. That was a good 42 minutes. Definitely a good game, but it just didn't hook me like it does most people. And then Glory for General's demo. 2 minutes, one time played. Yeah, this is another. It's a demo. Why not download it? And then I downloaded it. That's what it was. But around here, this is when I would have got my first job. So I had money. So that's how I was able to buy this. And buy Star Fox. And I believe I would have bought the Mario and Donkey Kong? Maybe. I don't remember if I had my job then. Or my first job then. But around, definitely here I had my first job. So I had money income now. So I was able to buy this full price by myself, bought the game. And then all the other games were now from here on. Like, there were some gifts in there, but the pace does pick up a little bit because I was able to buy more games for myself. And then one of those first games outside of Star Fox would have been Happy Home Designer. This is a game that I love, but I wish I put more time into because when this came out, I think this is like the perfect Animal Crossing spinoff. It is just a fantastic spinoff. Unfortunately, when it released, I just was not in an Animal Crossing mood in the slightest. I didn't really want to play. And I'm like, you know what, the spinoff, maybe it'll be good enough that I'll like hook into it. And honestly, it was better than what I thought, and it's honestly fantastic. But I just wasn't in the Animal Crossing mood, and since then, even though when I came in Animal Crossing mood, I just wanted to play the actual game. So this one just keeps getting underlooked. Definitely a fantastic game, but it's one that I never really got to play a whole lot. I'm gonna have to change that one day. So going to the next game that I purchased digitally, it's 3D Sonic Hedgehog 2. Sonic Hedgehog 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 kind of like alternate in terms of my favorite 2D Sonic game. I'm more nostalgic for 2, but I like a lot more things from 3. And then I like some things from 2, and then I like some things from 3, so I haven't really made up my mind. It depends on what day of the week you ask me. Like right now, maybe I'll say Sonic 3, but at the time I said Sonic 2. I definitely would have bought Sonic 3 if I had a 3D one, but unfortunately it was only Sonic 1 and 2. And I like Sonic 1 for what it is, but it just... Sonic Hedgehog really picked up steam when it hit Sonic 2 onward. And just played it for what it was. This was Sonic 2. I already owned it on countless things, but I'm like, yeah, let's own it on the 3DS too. Why not? Triforce Heroes demo. I think this was like a special demo, kind of like the Smash one, where this one was unlimited uses, and then they had one digitally on the eShop. I wouldn't really know if they had like an eShop one, because I had no need to download that one, like just the public one where you can just go on there. This was like the code where you'd sign up for it and then get it, and then it would just be emailed to you. No like requirement really. It was just like, oh, maybe you get it or don't. Don't really remember. This is something from like 9 years ago. But honestly, it was fun to play with friends, but it was not until the actual game came out and I bought it, and I'm like, hey, this is just a really fun game. I really like it. I prefer Zelda when it's more like 4 swords, and this was kind of like 4 swords minus 1. I wish it was 4 swords, because I feel like the 4 is more interesting than the 3. However, it was still really fun and interesting, and even though the 8 hours, didn't beat it once again, because I don't beat games. Well, Zelda games, mainly, but, I just, I don't know. Maybe I'll get to it one day. It's definitely a fantastic game, and yeah, that's it. That's it, really. I don't think my friends ended up getting this game, so all that time was just spent single player. So maybe if they had the game, I would have beat it and played a lot more of it, because it's a game that's definitely, you want people to play with you in it. Just because you can like coordinate on stuff, but when you're by yourself, you gotta like to change the characters or command the AI to go do this or do that. So it's not as interesting, though it's still fun. This is just another demo. I'm like, oh, demo, sure, why not? Sonic Boom, yeah, let's download the demo. But Pokemon Picross, another game. I don't remember if this was like a My Nintendo at the time download or just like a free thing on the eShop. I don't really remember. I have it. Picross, I didn't really understand it. Like I said, I don't really care for puzzle games for the most part. So I'm just like, yeah, Picross, that's cool. But I didn't really care for it. But then we move on to Badge Arcade. This is when we jump to 2016 for the Nintendo Badge Arcade. This is when the new 3DS was really popping off in terms of just having its features and stuff. I don't remember the Badge Arcade released before or after. I don't know if this is the day it released. I really don't remember if this released like day and day with the new 3DS. It was a little later. I think it was later. That's when I downloaded it. The badges are cool, but I hated that. Like, it was like you gotta spend $2 to buy it. Because on my time, my bank account at the time would just have $2 transaction, $2 transaction, because I'd be like, oh, I gotta get that one Mario Kart one. Not the best use of my money, nor is it the best use of most people's money or the best anything, but they were kind of cool. I just wish the way to obtain them was a lot better. And then we have Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. I love Mario and Luigi series, like Superstar, Partners in Time, Inside Story. But then I skipped out on Dream Team. So then I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll just start with this one. I'll do this one after. And thought it was good, but it didn't really hook me. It didn't keep me along the whole time. But I do find it interesting that I have 4 hours and 44 minutes, 4 times played, which makes it an average of 1 hour and 11 minutes. That's pretty cool. Fire Emblem Fates Conquest. This one's controversial because most people say this is not a very good Fire Emblem game, or either just the worst on the 3DS, or some say like the worst in general, outside of like maybe like some on the NES. I think this is my favorite Fire Emblem game of all time. I do want to give Birthright a try. I haven't played that. I didn't play the DLC, like the third path. But this is probably, not even, this is probably, this is my favorite Fire Emblem game to exist. I was, even though I didn't like finish Awakening, at this point in time, I was like seeing the trailer for this, and I'm like, I'm really interested in this game. Like, this game just looks really good. Like, it was giving me that bigger hook than what Awakening did. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get this one, and then I'm gonna go through it. And then I got it, and I'm like, holy crap! I love this game. This game's awesome. I know it's a controversial because it's just like there's a lot of Fire Emblem games that I just haven't played. Like I didn't beat Awakening. I didn't play the remake of the second game on 3DS. The Wii one, GameCube ones, GBA ones, even like the Switch ones now. I never played them. It's a lie I haven't played. But this one, I don't know why. This one just like, I don't know. It just clicked with me, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. And then Pokemon Yellow. This was just a big one where it's like, oh my god, they're releasing virtual console games. And it was like, oh, Red, Blue, and Yellow released all on the same day. And, you know, friends were like, oh, I'm going to get Red. I'm going to get Blue. And I'm just like, I'm going to get Yellow. So I got Yellow. And then the eShop closed like last year. And then I was like, oh, wait, I forgot to get Red and Blue. I didn't buy them. So I don't have Red and Blue. But I got Yellow. And I'm like, you know what? That's perfect. That's fine. I can get all the starters in it. So I don't really care that much. So Pokemon Yellow is just, it is what it is. It's fantastic. It's just, I don't know, it's a fun game to have, especially when it's just like digital, where you can just like be like, oh, yeah, I'll play a little bit of that. Because one man can only take so much Generation 1 Pokemon. It's good for the Game Boy. I think it's phenomenal for the Game Boy, actually. But it's just like, comparing it to every other Pokemon game, even like Gold and Silver, it's just like, I don't know. But micro SD card management, a classic, a staple on the 3DS. It's probably the best thing that's on the 3DS outside of system settings. It's up there. So this is when that whole Mario and Donkey Kong thing came back. I'm like, Mario versus Donkey Kong, sorry. And I'm just like, holy crap, they're making another one, but it's Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge. And I'm just like, holy crap, it's free and use Amiibo. And I was collecting Amiibo, so I got them all. So I downloaded this, and I'm just like, yay. I didn't really care for it. It was cool. All the characters, I believe, had like different special abilities, but I was just like, I didn't really sink my teeth into this game. But, you know, it was cool. Maybe I'll give it a shot later on. Pokemon Diamond. 2 minutes played, 2 times, each for a minute. Like I said, it's definitely another one that I played mainly on DSi, so I just put it in this. So I'm like, oh, I'll replay Pokemon Diamond. And then I put it in, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to play it. And then I put it back in, and I'm like, actually, I'm going to play it. And then I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to play Pokemon Diamond. Maybe I just play Pearl instead, or Pearl or Platinum instead. I don't even know. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. This was a game I had on DS, and I'm like, holy, let's go. Let's play this. Let's play this on the 3DS. Fantastic 15 minutes. Yeah, no, these Call of Duty DS games are like weird. It's the only one I own. And it's just like, yeah, it is what it is. Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix demo. I had a friend that was super into this, and then I heard people online say it's good, and I'm like, that looks interesting. And I got the demo, and I'm like, I got my fix out of the demo, because I'm weird. I don't really care for rhythm games or puzzle games. I'm just not into them. So I was just like, this game's cool, but do I really want to spend $40 on it, or 50 or 20, or no matter what it was? I was just like, do I really want to spend my money on it? Like, am I really going to play it more than the amount of time I'll throw into the demo? And I decided, like, no. Would I have gotten my time on it if I actually had bought it? Maybe. But like I said, I don't really care for rhythm games. And I just, like I said, I played this for 22 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, I get my rhythm game fix from just the demo. Like, it's like getting a demo of Tetris. It's just like, if you get a demo of any Tetris game, it's just like, you just have Tetris, like Puyo Puyo Tetris demo. You download that, you just now own Puyo Puyo and Tetris, because like, yeah, you don't have the story mode and the characters and all that, but it's just like, it's Tetris and Puyo Puyo. You just have the game at that point. So if I download a rhythm game, or a demo of a rhythm game, I'm just like, I have the rhythm game now. Yeah, maybe there's some mini games I'm missing, but it's just like I can get my fix out of that, and my fix is 22 minutes because I don't really care for them, unfortunately. Even though it definitely was a quality game. Just another video. This is probably an older video, but I'm just like, yeah, I'll download it. Sure, why not? So, this is when we get to the interesting area. When I downloaded Donkey Kong Country. Now it's just like, what? It's just Donkey Kong Country. What's so interesting about that? Well, Donkey Kong Country was an interesting series to me because it was just one that was just always lingering in the back of my mind because I hadn't really played them. The most I played was Donkey Kong Country 3, and that's the one I wanted to play, but I'm like, you know what? I need to sit down and play 1, then 2, and then get to 3. And the reason I had such a big interest in 3 was because that there was a like a movie DVD store near my house, and they had a Super Nintendo up. Like, this is years and years ago, and definitely years before this, like years and years ago before this. So I remember going there, and every time family members were, gonna go pick out a movie or this and that, I would look at movies, but they had like a game I looked at, and they had a Super Nintendo set up. And I remember playing Donkey Kong Country 3, and I'm like, what is this? Who is this Donkey Kong guy wearing blue? Who's this Donkey Kong girl wearing pink? Who are these characters? Where's Diddy? Where's Donkey Kong? What is this game? Why is it fun? But I never owned it because I didn't have a Super Nintendo. So it's just like, I want to play this game. And then I really remember like thinking back. I always like think back at that. I'm like, I want to play that game. I really want to play because I enjoyed what I played. And I'm like, oh, it's the country series. Yay, it is the country series. I got to play all of them. There's 3 of them. That's the 3rd one. Then I'm like, oh, they were getting added to this. To the new 3DS, because the new 3DS could play Super Nintendo games, because only a new 3DS could play Super Nintendo games. Regular DS would be caught dead playing a Super Nintendo game, but everything else is fine. So I was like, oh, they're releasing the country games finally. I can buy 3. I can play 3. I can finally relive it. But I'm like, maybe I should play 1 and 2. So I decided I'll play 1 and 2, and I played 1. Phenomenal platformer. Definitely one of my favorite Donkey Kong games. Got 8 hours and 30 minutes out of it. And I would say, hey, what's better than Donkey Kong Country? Just slap a 2 at the end of it. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country 2 is just Donkey Kong Country 1, but way better. Not because it does what it does better. It just clicks better. It's a fantastic game start to finish. Donkey Kong Country is a fantastic game. So that's like 100% game. Like, that game is just 100% good. This is like 102. Like, it's somehow better. You take perfection and you make it better. Okay. Like, they're not perfect. They have issues. They're definitely the biggest issues definitely in their difficulty because of how old they are. But if you look at like the 3DS version, be like, oh, you can use save states and that. So people, when you save states, you can use that, or just just muscle through it using the regular stuff. This is just a fantastic Donkey Kong game, and fantastic game, period, but fantastic Donkey Kong Country game. 2 is just definitely better than 1. 1 is really good, but 2 is definitely better than 1. So I'm like, I can't wait for 3. Where's 3? Well, 3 is on here, but it takes a little bit to get to. Because I think I beat that, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta play that right away. Monster Hunter Generations demo. That was just like another, I think this was like a new 3DS only game, maybe? So I downloaded a demo, and I'm like, yeah, it was cool. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a new 3DS game, but I'm just like, hey, it's another demo. Sure, why not? Metroid Prime Blast Ball. It's free. I downloaded it. Yay! There it goes, 19 minutes. And then Kirby Planet Robobot. Triple Deluxe was awesome. Download demo. I'm like, hey, this is really fun. But I don't know why I never ended up buying this game. It was just weird that I never ended up getting it. I do own it now, but I just I found it used, but I don't know why I never played it when it was new. It's interesting, because I really like Triple Deluxe. So, it's Donkey Kong Country 3. I didn't beat it. I finally got it. I didn't beat it. I didn't find it as interesting as the other ones, but to be fair, I had just played all of Country 1 and 2 within a very short time frame. So I was just like, kind of burnt out a little bit. Even though they're phenomenal games, I was kind of like burnt out to go play another one. So that was another reason that I never ended up finishing this one. I really liked this one. Really, really like it, but it just didn't click as well as 1 and 2. It's definitely one I got to go back to, because it definitely will click when I go back to it. It just, on top of it, just I didn't think it was as good as 2 because 2 just was so good. And on top of just being burnt out from playing 1 and 2 back to back, I just ended up dropping this one. But I'll definitely go back to this one, and I'll definitely think highly, like a lot more highly of it. I do think it's good. I do think it's really good too. It's definitely a very good game and a very good Donkey Kong Country game, or just Donkey Kong game period. But it just, I never beat it. Never beat it when it was new. But I'll definitely have to go back to this game. Maybe I won't play it on the 3DS, but maybe I'll play it on like the actual console or just like, the Switch or like the Wii U or maybe on this. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. That's irrelevant. But definitely a game I'm gonna have to go back to sometime soon. And then Azure Strike Gunvolt. This was just another like, yeah, it's a demo. Why not? It seems to be a trend. But this was another one where I was just out and about at a game store with friends, and I'm just all like, I saw this on the shelf. I had known Sonic Boom released like years prior, and I'm just like, I saw it used. There was like 20 bones, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'll download that. So or not download it, so I'll buy that. So then I bought it and I played it, and I actually really enjoy it. I do think it's a solid 2D Sonic game, but part of me thinks it's solid because it's on the 3DS. If this was like on PlayStation 4 or like Wii U or something, I would have thought like a lot less of it. But for like a 3DS game, it was honestly pretty good. Then I was kind of feeling like 2D Sonic. Ended up finding the Classic Collection at a store for 20 bucks as well, so I bought that. And it's just Sonic 1, 2, and 3, but they're just good games, and yeah, it's all it really is. And then because my interest in Boom, Shattered Crystal, Fire and Ice was actually releasing soon. Then I'm all like, oh, I just played Shattered Crystal. That was honestly a pretty solid game. Now they're making a sequel to it. It's got to be just as solid, and it is. Honestly, it's better. I think Fire and Ice is better than Shattered Crystal, and definitely the best Boom game. But like, it is what it is. Like, I thought Shattered Crystal was awesome. Well, awesome for what it was. And then Fire and Ice was just awesome for what it was, too. It was a really fun 2D Sonic game on the 3DS. If it released on anything else, like a console, probably not as highly. But for a 3DS game, it was definitely worth my time. And it's honestly definitely just a fun 2D Sonic game for what it is. I believe both these games I 100%ed. So it kind of short, like, shows like their length, with it just being like shorter, like 9-hour, 10-hour. But it's also kind of good to have like a shorter 100% game to play every once in a while, which is pretty cool. Definitely fun games, but not the best Sonic games ever. And I think Sonic Generations is still the best 2D Sonic game that is on the 3DS, that was made for the 3DS. But it definitely is a really fun game. Both Boom games on 3DS and Generations as well, going back to like the first page. And then also, not Ultra Sun, sorry, just Pokemon Sun and Moon Special Demo. Not a scenario, just like the Omega Ruby one. I don't remember if it released just like you could download on the eShop, you had to get a code, you had to get invited, this and that. I don't really remember, but it was just kind of the same thing, like the same demo, just like kind of the same concept as far as I remember, just a similar thing. Like, oh, it's not you start and you gotta you can only play the first 10 minutes. It's just its own island, its own area you can explore, this and that. Or just like a small area you can explore. You're already given like level 30 Pokemon or something like that. It was interesting. It was cool. And I got my time out of it for being free, waiting for the game to release. And then Face Raiders for the second time. How am I just realizing Face Raiders is on here twice? Weird. Anyhow, Pokemon Sun released. Beat it. Honestly, really good Pokemon game. I had played Pokemon Moon before this release date. I was able to get my hands on a copy of the game. So I already played the game before it released. I think it's like one of the first games I ever played before it released, and I thought it was awesome and really fun experience to be like in high school, and everyone's excited for Pokemon Sun and Moon, and I'm already playing it on a 3DS. But yeah, when the game came out, I bought them both, and they're really fun Pokemon games. I think they're the best Pokemon game that I do not want to replay, because they're very fun Pokemon games. There's so much good about them, but the intro part is such a slog that it's just like I can't go back to it anymore. It just takes so long to get into things. So when I played Moon before it released, I played it all the way through. And then when I played Sun when it released, I played it all the way through and I was able to muscle through. But when I bought my actual copy of Moon, like the physical copy of Moon, and I played it on this, I just couldn't get myself to beat it again. Only 8 hours. That's still pretty decent, but I just couldn't get myself to complete it like I did the other two. And then, Mario World, just like another 2D platform. It was like, oh, it's another SNES game. I have a new 3DS. Sure, why not? I think about that one when I was in high school, too. Like, in school on the Wi-Fi. Then these were just more trailers. But these were for all, like, the Kid Icarus 3DS ones. All, like, the animated trailers. Just, like, the little, just a little, like, skits. Where it's just like, oh, it's 5 minutes of this. Like, oh, Palutena cooks food and then they become evil. That's an animation, sure. These are pretty cool to download, though. Instead of just being online, it was kind of cool how you could, like, just download trailers or even, like, videos like this. I believe they were completely free. So it was just like, yeah, I'll download all 3 of them. Sure, why not? Yeah, they were just cozy. They were just cozy. But Team Kirby Clash Deluxe, I believe this was free. And I think this was an extension of Team Kirby Clash, which was in Kirby Robobot. Because Kirby games on the 3DS, they kind of had like 2 sub-modes. So like Triple Deluxe had Kirby Fighters and King DDD, like the Drum Bash. And then both of those had digital ones, like separate, like expanded deluxe versions, which I didn't buy the DDD one because rhythm games, I don't really care for them. But I did buy the Kirby Fighters one. Then Robobot, I think, had 2 as well. Maybe only 1, but one of them was a Clash, if I'm not mistaken. And this would have been just the standard release of it. I could be completely wrong with what I'm saying. Maybe this is just a standard release as is. But the fact that this is deluxe in it makes me think that that's not what it was. But, yeah, I got it. I think it was free. And, it's cool for what it was. It was fun. But I never, it was just, yeah, it was just a fun game to have digital and just download ready to go. And then this was like in 2017. Like this was like the Switch had already released at this point, right? So it was just like I wasn't really buying a lot of 3DS games anymore. Like it was just this was like it. Like after Sun, and yeah, like Super Mario World would have been the last game that I would have bought, and it's not even a 3DS game. So yeah, so Ultra Sun came back to when that came out. I didn't beat it when it came out, but before Sword and Shield came out, I'm like, I gotta beat Ultra Sun, so then I beat it, and I think it's good. I think it's actually inferior to regular Sun, just because of a lot of the story changes they do. But there's some other things about it that I think it makes it superior to. So it's a weird scenario where it's not like the Emerald to Ruby and Sapphire, which is better pretty much, and the Platinum to Diamond and Pearl, where it's definitively actually just better. I feel like a lot of the changes with Ultra Sun from regular Sun kind of make it worse. But some changes make it better. In my opinion, if I were to go back, I would probably just play Sun over Ultra Sun, but it was definitely still really good because base Sun was really good. And then just sometime in 2018, I'm just like, I'm gonna play Minecraft on 3DS. Like at this point, high school was done. Like even like by Ultra Sun, high school was done. This would have been like the last game I played in high school before I graduated. So around like here, yeah, like I would have been in high school then, the last semester of grade 12, and then here's, yeah, it was out. So this was just like, hey, no more friends I can see 5 days a week to play games with. So a lot of these were like single player games, and also just a lot less being bought. Nintendo Switch, and then job. So like I didn't really have as much time to play games. Like I still obviously got my time to play games, but just I wasn't like, oh, well, I'm in school, I'm gonna play during lunch and this and that and play with friends. So whenever I was playing with people, it was just like playing games with people. It was either online or whatnot. So it wasn't as often as it would like typically be. Or if it was like playing games with people, it'd be like at a house or whatever. So it was like probably something on the console. Wasn't going over to play 3DS games. So a lot of those co-op games just I didn't really play as much anymore. Also was buying a lot less because the Nintendo Switch had just released, so I was buying Switch games and focusing mainly on that. But just randomly, like a year after the Switch released. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna buy Minecraft on 3DS. I feel like if this would have actually had released in like 2015 or something, I would have played like a ton of it. A ton of it. This would probably been over 30 hours. And it's weird because like Minecraft was no stranger to being portable. It was already on like phones and stuff. But and this was honestly kind of inferior to those phone versions, but just the fact that um it had like an actual control pad, like with buttons and an analog stick and D-pad and a nipple and like shoulder buttons and start select whatever. It just felt better to control, even though it was lacking more content, ran worse, whatever. And you can only play, I believe you could play co-op with friends, but only with one friend. And plus, it was like a new 3DS exclusive, so a lot of friends that have new 3DS, so they had the regular one when they got them. So I probably would have played the single player. And if it released in 2015, I would have played like a ton of this game. And even like early 2016 as well. But at this point, like I said, I was already out of high school, so it was just like me. And then it was like, I was out of high school, so it was like, do I want to just like sit in my chair playing Minecraft on 3DS or like playing on PC or playing on like a console or something? Because it's just not better than those ones at all. Or this is not better than either of them. And like, it's just like on a whim. Like I had a job and it was like, yeah, I'll play Minecraft on 3DS. Sure, why not? So that's how I ended up with that. And this is where we end up with the last page. This is when my 3DS pretty much comes to the close. I mean, it pretty much came to the close after like this Ultra Sun and whatnot. So this is kind of like just finishing that off because this is the end. Luigi's Mansion. This is like when I came back to the 3DS and played it quite a bit, like replaying other games, and then because Luigi's Mansion, like I said, on GameCube, phenomenal game, one of my favorite games of all time, definitely one of my favorite GameCube games. So they made a remake of it, and I really like this remake. Is it better than the original? It's hit and miss. It's a weird stuff where I think the art style is worse than the GameCube one, but I feel a lot of the features are better. Like the portrait ghost rematches are like a great feature. I think the idea of co-op is cool, but I've never played it because at 2018 it had no online, and then friends I was playing with are just like, why would I buy Luigi's Mansion? Because I think they had to own the game. I don't think this had DS download play, but even if it did, no one was interested in playing 3DS games anymore, and it was just like, yo, I'm gonna come to your house, I'm gonna drive over to your house and play Luigi's Mansion remake on 3DS in your living room, and it just didn't happen. So I just played it single player, and that's honestly where most of it would have came from. Most of the enjoyment would have came from the single player in Luigi's Mansion, and yeah, I think it's just a great remake. But at this point, like I said, this was the end of 2018. This is almost coming on to 2019, so there just wasn't anything else like releasing besides random stuff like this, because Nintendo was still kind of like holding on to the 3DS just in case it failed. So they're like, oh, we'll release this, but yeah, that's what it was. And then that's how it released, and I wish it was on the Switch, but I do think it's still really good on the 3DS as well. And then this trailer, there's another trailer, like sure, why not? And then Ultra Sun, like I said, I bought Ultra Sun with Ultra Moon. I bought Ultra Moon, I bought Ultra Sun, because I like buying both, because I like wasting money. So I bought both, and this one I think I just booted up to do like mystery gifts and whatnot. Never ended up like replaying the game, because like I said, it's a really hard replay Pokemon game, just because all the tutorials in the beginning. And then later on, at a used game store, I saw Hyrule Warriors Legends, and I'm like, this was a game that I wanted to get at the time, but I was like, I already own it on a Wii U, and I like, when it was in 2014, 2015, 2014, 2015 era, I didn't really have a job, or not really have a job, I just didn't have a job, so I didn't have a lot of money, so I'm like, I don't really want to buy like Hyrule Warriors on both. And just for context of how little Zelda games I play, Hyrule Warriors is my favorite Zelda game. So if you want any context to how few Zelda games I actually play, that sets the stage. But I wanted to get this one because the new content went out, and I saw it used for like maybe $20 at the same game store I bought Sonic Boom at years prior. Very good game store. So I just bought it, and I was just like, yeah, this is cool. Hyrule Wars on 3DS. I would have played a ton of this in high school, but nowadays, no. The fact that I got 5 hours out of it is pretty impressive, though. Not gonna lie. And then Netflix. This was just like a yeah, honestly, it ends pretty much with Hyrule Warriors, because Netflix this is when I was just opened up the 3DS, to then just buy or download or get whatever I can from the eShop before it closed. I believe that's actually the day it closed, or the day before it closed. So I was just downloading like whatever. So like Netflix I downloaded, obviously just a minute. The Nintendo Fan Network, I played it twice, weird, each for a minute. This was kind of like a Nintendo baseball thing that was on the DSi that I'm just like, yeah, I might as well download it because, yeah, why not? I don't know, I have the space for it. It's going to close. I'm not going to be able to get it ever again. So, sure. Battle Royale demo was another thing. It was just like, yeah, it was a demo. Sure, why not? Let's just get it downloaded. Why not? Dinosaur Office. This was a classic. It's weird because I remember having this before. So maybe this is what I watched a Nintendo video and then they released like a separate video of it later. I don't know. Just that day, I'm just also like, oh, it's download. I was just like, oh, it's free download. Sure, it's free. I have 32 gigs of storage, and 32 gigs of storage on a 3DS that has no actual full games downloaded to it is like infinite space. You just never run out. So I was just like, sure, download. And then, yeah, this was like that same year after it closed. I had saw Xenoblade at a different game store. And Xenoblade Chronicles is probably the best RPG ever made. So I'm just like, you had to buy another copy of the game on something else, sure. And then I played a little bit of this, and I'm like, man, I kind of wish I cared about Xenoblade in like 2015 or 2016 or whatever, because he was just like the main guy show up was just some random guy from Smash Brothers at the time. So I just didn't really care to get into Xenoblade because I didn't know anything about it prior, but I kind of wish I did because this would have been a very, very fun game to have on 3DS just because of how big of a game it is, especially for like 3DS. I know it's like a new 3DS game, not a regular 3DS game, but it's still crazy the amount of game that is being played on a new 3DS of all things. And then the very last thing that's on here is just RPG Maker Fez Player. I downloaded the player before it closed because there's another free software. I didn't play it right away. I booted it up a little later in September, and it doesn't work because those servers shut down. I think even before the eShop shut down, but the player was available. Or maybe the player shut down, like its server shut down the same as the eShop. I don't remember, but it was just another download. And yeah, my 3DS activity log ends there in terms of games. But there's just one thing I want to look at is just rankings. I just want to look at like playtime and then just run through them because some of them I don't remember mentioning. If I did, it is what it is. So number one played game is Smash, followed by Alpha Sapphire, New Leaf, Y, Heart Gold, 7, Platinum, Settings, eShop, and Fates. Those are the top 10. I'm just going to let everything else go in order as I just talk about whatever. The activity log is just fantastic, honestly. The fact that it does all this, because the Switch just does top, shows your hours in your 20 most recently played games. And the Wii U will only show what you played per month or per day. So it's a little upsetting. There's nothing else interesting in there. And then play frequency. I'm going to tackle this. It starts with the friends list, eShop, Smash Bros, Me Plaza, Street Pass Plaza, Internet Browser, New Leaf, System Settings, Pokemon Y, Alpha Sapphire, and then Mario Kart 7. And then I'm just going to let this run. So it's interesting that the 3DS keeps track of so much statistics that just the other ones didn't. I don't know why they didn't do it. I didn't know why the Wii U one just doesn't have the 3DS one, and I don't know why the Switch one just doesn't have anything. It's a little upsetting because you can't track your hours on like anything unless you like boot it up. It's like, oh, I haven't played Fire Emblem Warriors since like 2018. What are my hours on it? Oh, I gotta boot up the game to check that. And even it's like if you're buying physical games and then you're selling them, you can't check that hours anymore until you put the game in again. So if you buy physical games and you like selling them, you can't check those hours anymore. And it's kind of annoying. Like to me, I buy physical games and I don't sell them, so I could always check. But to the average person that's buying New Super Mario Bros. U and then beating it and being like, oh, I played New Super Mario Bros. U on the Switch and then selling it, that makes perfect sense. But if they want to check those hours, they go, oh, they can't check unless they like took a photo of it. But then like you shouldn't have to do that. It's a little silly. Seeing as like the two consoles before it had activity logs and one of them being phenomenal. But in terms of average playtime, the highest being Sonic Chronicles, Ocarina 3D, TKC 2, Pokemon Sun, DKC1, Smash Brothers, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, Kirby Triple Deluxe, Pokemon Ultra Sun, and then Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal. And then the Fates is 11. And then, another Fire Emblem. And then another Pokemon in Minecraft, in Luigi's Mansion, whatever. And going on from there, I just wish, like, the Switch had an activity log similar to this. This is just a fantastic game. And this is not every 3DS game I own. I like I said, I do have the other two 3DSs, so I did sometimes play games on them, so the hours aren't correct, and maybe the software I booted up on the other ones I never played on this one. So this isn't my definitive all-in be-all of my hours used on, like, played on 3DS, because the other two that I have, that red one I didn't sell, and the NES one I didn't sell, there's hours on that don't transfer over, because like I said, I had the red one transferred all to the NES one transferred all to this, so everything got transferred to this. And then if I ever used those, they were now stock. So if I boot up a game on that, it starts its own activity log and so on. So there's definitely hours that are missing, and even like applications that are missing. There's plenty of 3DS games I have bought since that I just I have bought since, but I just never played yet, never got to yet. And even all those downloaded stuff on the eShop, I downloaded a ton of stuff. If it said free, I hit download. Even if I didn't care for it, I just hit download, because I'm like, 32 gigs is infinite space for 3DS stuff, like just demos and trailers and whatnot. And then, yeah, just downloaded applications and whatnot. So there's plenty of stuff on here that I just never booted up. So if you don't boot it up, it doesn't show up in the activity log. But then we're just going to look at the first date, by date first played. So this is going by the most recently first played onward to the bottom, and then the amount of days. And it's crazy that it's all in like 4 digits of first play. So I'm just like I a lot of these days that like I played these games, it almost feels like it was just like last week or a month or maybe even like only a year ago, that like I could remember things I did that day. Like maybe not things I like ate that day or whatnot, but it just I don't know. I just remember those days. Also, like I said, these games from Mario and Luigi up till system settings are incorrect. So Y onward down. And also, I just want to mention this quickly. New Leaf. New Leaf has a setting in game, I believe, that lets you fix the time. So I wouldn't have noticed the incorrect time in New Leaf, just because I would have set the time in game, and I probably didn't realize till later that like it was just the actual 3DS that was wrong, not the game. So my New Leaf has like no time travel on it, but yeah, I don't even know why that thing changed. I don't even know. Like even when I turned it on now, it was like correct date, but 5 minutes behind or ahead. And then my Wii U recently, when I was checking its activity log, was like 6 months ahead or something, which was weird. But anyhow, we're going from date last played. So, like I said, I booted up my 3DS a couple weeks ago because I wanted to replay Pokemon White. So there's a few stuff I played, like system settings I booted up recently to fix that like 5-minute time. Activity log, obviously it's open. Pokemon White I've been playing. eShop I just opened to be all like, yeah, there's nothing here. Micro SD card management. Oh, so that's the thing. I was wondering, I'm like, I don't remember ever opening this, but micro SD card management is it's that setting in system settings. So that explains why it goes phase to black and then comes back to another menu. That explains why I have access on that. Because I just kind of clicked it. I'm like, I thought it would just like show me my like games, but it is every time I boot it up, it was just the like I was like, oh, I always forget what it is, and I go, oh yeah, show me my storage, and then it takes me to another thing that it's just like something else. I'm like, oh, so that explains why that was booted up 11 days ago and why I keep booting up 7 times. And then DS download play. Oh, that would have been when I made the DS download play video. I used this DS for one of the DS download plays, so that explains why it's booted up there. And then like friends list, and then around that same time I was just playing other games to like, you know, I just turned the DS on then, and I was just playing other stuff, and then so on and so forth. So then we're going on to just everything else here. Those handful of games I was just playing, like Mario and Donkey Kong I was playing, and even that arcade game I was just playing, is just they were downloaded, so I was just playing them to like, you know, just get a feel for the 3DS again, because I haven't used it in so long, like up until I made that DS download play video. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my my 3DS activity log. That's it. There's like the daily log I could go through, but I'm not really going to. There's no sense to do it besides like seeing like steps. I guess it's not really a need for it. Maybe I can go by like year. Yeah, I'll go by year just to simplify it. So 2011, this one, like I said, they're skewed hours because I didn't actually get it until then. So all these don't actually count. Like the steps count, but the steps aren't a part of that year. 2012, 13, 14, this is where I played it a lot. 2015 was playing it a lot. 2016, 2017, and high school ended and it flatlined. The Switch would have released then, and the second high school was done, it flatlined, and just a couple spikes here and there for new games releasing, like Luigi's Mansion and Ultra Sun. But outside of that, like that was it. Like 2020, nothing. I didn't boot up anything. 2021 is sitting there with like nothing. And then 2020 nothing, 2013 nothing, and 2014 nothing. In terms of these are also so these are steps. Sorry, I misspoke. Now this is playtime. So 2011, my most played was New Leaf. Now that's incorrect because my New Leaf didn't release in 2011. So the only like these don't count. That's the real playtime. So I won't know, but I'd imagine it's probably 3D Land. 2012, Heart Gold. Those are the playtime. So yeah, that says hours. So the other ones were steps. So I was completely wrong with those graphs earlier. The green graphs these were just like the steps, the amount I was walking. That would explain because the second that plateaued, I didn't have to walk to school anymore, and I drove everywhere. So that honestly explains. Like I drove everywhere, and I didn't need to bring my 3DS anywhere. So it's just that explains that. That's the steps. Also, that is a lot of steps. But playtime, 2011. This would have been those don't count. This would have been Super Mario 3D Land. 2011 would have been 3D Land. Those don't count. Like that, only that counts. 2012 would be Pokemon Heart Gold, Pokemon Y in 2013, Smash Brothers 2014, instantly up. 2015 playing quite a lot, still Smash. 2016, this was Pokemon Platinum, interestingly. 2017, Smash again, which is interesting. And then 2018, this is when I got back to playing New Leaf a lot. I got back into it. Ultra Sun, it was the only really game that came out that year that I played, because it would have released towards, well, no, it didn't release then, sorry, Sun and Moon was Sword and Shield was releasing then, and I was just playing, Ultra Sun, so I could, like, be like, yeah, I beat Ultra Sun before Sword and Shield came out, because I don't know why I really cared, but whatever. And then Mario Kart DS in 2020, 2021, Hyrule Warriors Legends, 2022, actually nothing. Not a single application opened in 2022, which is crazy. In 2013, this was just eShop closing, so I had the eShop open, and then maybe like opening like some of the programs, and then that in the ninth month being September. That's what I would have been doing the filming for DS Download Play on the Dice Bomb channel. So that's where that comes from. That's definitely just like having DS Download Play open, and like some other hours just like playing like Mario and Donkey Kong and that arcade game to just, check it out again. And then 2014 with Pokemon White, when I booted it up earlier this month to just be like, yeah, I want to play some Pokemon White. I don't know, it's the Pokemon game I just kind of want to replay, so I had that. And that's it. That's it for my 3DS activity log, definitively, and that is it. Maybe I'll check out my Wii U activity log one time, just before like the servers shut down for 3DS and Wii U. But I really want to check out my 3DS one, like just because the activity log, the software is so well organized, on top of having a lot more games played on the 3DS than I did the Wii U. But that's pretty much it. And now maybe I'll have some more games. Maybe I'll go back and maybe I'll do an update on the activity log once I start playing more 3DS games. But it won't be as interesting because I'm not going to have a huge like 12-year or 13-year gap between when I got the system and now. But it could be interesting. Maybe. So that's pretty much it. That's it for this video. if you have any 3DS stories that involve the activity log, or just 3DS stories in general, what games you got and when you got them, how you played them, and this and that, comment below. I would love to hear them and just check them out. I could have more 3DS stories, but this was just kind of just quickly talking about them all because there's like 138 things that were on here, and even then, this took over an hour. I think I've been recording for over an hour, so this was a lot of time spent just to quickly talk about them. I could definitely talk about more stories I spent on the 3DS about like specific games here and there, but this was just quickly just trying to cover everything. Some games more than others, but just I wanted to just cover everything at least just one sentence on everything that's here. So that's pretty much it. And thanks for taking the time to look at all of this. See ya.